Good.
Cool.
Okay. Wow. So, this is all about who we are and what we do. You've met three of us. There are some more of us as well behind the scenes, who couldn't be here tonight, sadly. And hopefully we'll be able to expand our group as well. So the Meteor started publishing stories in 2016, which would have been about the time it was formed, I hope. As Alice mentioned before, the original Meteor team went on a training course that was run by the Mule, who were fairly well known, and their website's still up if you want to go and have a look at some of the things that they did. But then the new cohort, who kind of inherited the Mule as a little bit of a surprise gift, decided, okay, well, we'll start our own thing now using the skills that we've got from this training course, and thus the Meteor was born. And it's so we've got stories dating back to 2016, but when I got involved was in 2018 when they reran, well, I don't know how similar they were, but they ran a similar community journalism course in 2018, and this was over a period of 8 weeks, and it had evening and weekend sessions, and it was like the building blocks of community journalism. So you learn a little bit about, say, how to write a good story, like what story structure and formats are good, where to find stories. There was a weekend course on making a video on your mobile and publishing from your mobile. There was one on photography. So it's all these little bits, and it couldn't go into the same depth as a formal journalism course from one of the institutions like the NCTJ, but it did give you the basics, and it meant that if you chose to carry on working with the Meteor, you would have these skills that you could build on and learn more with during your time with us. And we did have a fair few articles published by people who went on the course, and now 5 years later there are still two of us who went on that course left, so that's not so bad. And then shortly after this, when we'd got some more people in, the Meteor was incorporated as a co-op. And then in 2019, I think it was July the 4th, so it's like Media Independence Day. I think that actually is called Media Independence Day as well. But well, that's not for another year, so we won't worry about it for now. And we chose a co-op structure because this was sort of more in line with like the values that we were trying to exhibit, and we felt the business structure worked, and so we went for that. And it's sort of been things kept going for the next 3 years, but the business didn't expand as quickly as it really needed to. A new team took over in 22 and a number of people left. And we had sort of some really big ambitions for sort of how we wanted to grow the business, produce more content, get more people involved, make more money, obviously, because we want to pay ourselves. But it's been a bit of a struggle with so few people. So this is one of the reasons why we're having a recruitment drive. We want to get some more people in, and we want to make this really big, because there are other hyperlocal publications using a similar model. Some are co-ops, some are not. And they're doing really well. We know it can be done. Manchester's a huge city. There's so much going on. And I mean, I know because I think every day of all the stories I want to write, but I don't have the time to do. So obviously, if someone else can write them, that's fantastic. So, I mean, the work's there, the audience is there, the money's there. We just really need the people. So these are some of the things we've come.
Can I be annoying and ask you to put? I mean, it's everyone can see it, and that's the most important thing. But just having it so you can't see your sidebar.
I don't know if that's possible because.
Yeah, right. In which case,
I'll try it.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yay! There you go.
All right. I don't know what the control's gonna be like, but we'll keep it like that.
Thanks.
So we've done various exercises over the years where we've decided on our mission and our values and how we want to be, what we want to represent. And these are some of the things that we've come up with over the years. You might recognise some of them. Some of them are new. There's one of yours there, Emma, and I included it because it's a little bit light-hearted.
Sorry, what did you delete? Say that again.
I included, your idea for the tagline.
Yeah, for the money, not the few.
Yes.
Yes, excellent.
It's like we've been trying to come up with ways to justify something that maybe is a bit more serious, but actually that's the best thing that anyone's come up with. So we might just end up going with that. But yeah, these are all sorts of things that really describe what we're trying to do here. And they've come, so we've worked together as a group to decide what Meteor is really about. And this is representative. So this diagram here, which describes how the organisation works, was created probably about 4 years ago, around about the same time as the incorporation into a co-op. And the way it works has changed a little bit, but this is still fairly representative in general. I mean, this is a very general diagram, but basically we have the whole community of everyone who's in the co-op, which at present is about 150 people, I think. And then we have within that the team who do the work and the board, and they overlap a little bit. There are some people who are on the team and the board, and that's great. And we also have regular communication between the two, because the board needs to know what we're up to, and we also need their advice. So it's a reciprocal thing. We also have contributors and volunteers who might be co-op members or might not. I mean, we'd really try and encourage them to become co-op members. We always tell them how fantastic we are and how they should definitely be a part of it. But, you know, not all of them have signed up. So this is the bit that's quite important, because at the moment, the board are a lot more involved than they would expect to be. And we've got a lot of people on the board who, like many boards of such organisations like CICs and co-ops, they can devote a little bit of time to the organisation, and they've got loads and loads of advice that, you know, it's really great that they can pass on, and we need it. But it's not a full-time job for them. They're sort of here to steer the organisation, but they're not here to actually do the bulk of the work. And at the moment, the board are getting more involved because there aren't enough people. Those of us on the team will actually be running things. So we produce the content, we send out the social media messages, we send out the newsletters, the emails, we work on projects. We'll have a budget that we will decide how to spend, and we will choose the editorial direction and how we're going to implement it. We do regularly communicate with the board, because they need to know that what we're putting forward adheres to the values of our organisation, and also the 7 cooperative values, which I can probably send you a link to that afterwards, because it was quite important to us that we run our business in a way that's more participatory and democratic. So as you can see at the bottom of the screen, we've got all the co-op members between the two, because although the board and the team have really important roles in actually running things, everyone in the co-op needs to be able to feed into this and have a say. So some of the things that we might do is we might ask the co-op members to vote on which topics we'll cover. We'll have regular members meetings where we can actually find out what's going on in their neighbourhoods and get them to tell us if there's anything that we should know about. I think we've had times in the past where we've picked 6 topics, and we ask the members to vote, and we'll choose the top 3, and they'll be our priorities for like the next 6 months or something. So we want to make sure that continues, that the members are able to feed into that. And that's one of the reasons that we really need people who are able and happy to work with the membership, regular communications, to help with running events and outreach with other community groups and things. So the roles here, some of them are the ones that we included in the email, but there's others as well, just random things that we're looking for people who've got these skills. And we appreciate it's fairly likely that because we're asking people at first to volunteer their time, they might not be able to commit to 100% of a role, but they might have a couple of hours to do a bit of research for us, or they might be able to do a little bit of proofreading, or maybe they'd like to do social media but only on a Tuesday afternoon or something, and that's fine. From our point of view, we want to make sure that we've got all of our bases covered, but we want to be sure that we're using people's skills in the right way, and that we're keeping everyone happy, and that we're not demanding too much, because if that happens, people don't stick around, and we really want you to stick around. Our biggest thing, obviously, is writers and editors, because that's what we do. We write and produce content. We also do audio and video stuff if you're interested as well. But we do need all of these people, and it might be that you decide, okay, I'm going to be the member recruitment and engagement secretary, and that's all you do. That's wonderful. But it might also be that you really want to be involved with the team, but you can't decide on one thing. So you could do a little bit here and there, and that's also fine. We need people like that. What we're really looking for is a core team that we don't mind how big the team probably can't get too big, but we do need just more people who are around to do the work and get involved. It's probably not going to be that formal, and that's what I'm coming on to in this slide. So as I've emphasized many times, we are a co-op, and that's the way that we work. Instead of being very individualized, like things often are in journalism, it's not the case that you'll just go away, do a piece of work, bring it back, and that's it. We're finding that we work a lot better when we communicate and like work on things, if not together, at least if we're somehow in a shared space, so that we can talk about what we're doing and bounce ideas off each other and things. We have, and we want to continue, a culture of sharing information. So we've got systems set up for storing databases and things. So what will often happen is somebody will work on a project and they'll get a lot of information from it. And we find that information is actually useful to other people as well. Not necessarily on exactly the same story, but in some other way. So for example, when we've been looking at election coverage, one of the things we have is a list of councillors and candidates and the percentages of the vote that they got. And that was great for that story, but somebody else might want to know who's the councillor for this and what political party they are or whatever. We've got that stored in our database. Obviously, we are GDPR compliant, and we also need somebody who watches over that. So if you love privacy policies and data protection, we have got the role for you. We are very flexible with the way we work. I mean, at the moment, this is through necessity because everyone we have on the team is a very busy person. But we have an office in the city centre, and we also have all the software that you need to do things remotely. So we use Zoom, we use Slack, WhatsApp, email, occasionally a phone call. Can't think of what else. And we also use things like Miro and Jamboards and stuff to do like brainstorming thingies where you stick post-it notes on a virtual screen and stuff like that. So we're able to accommodate most styles of working. I can't think of anything that we can't, to be honest. If you do want to do it traditionally, if you do want to pitch a story, go away, come back with something finished, and then we'll send you feedback, we can also accommodate that. But that's not the main way that we work. And we also want it to be as participatory and inclusive as possible for everyone. So we want to get more of our members involved, and as well as more people in general. And we want everyone to feel like they have, like there's a place for them if they want to take it up. And also just regarding the other things that we do, I mentioned audio and video content, but we also run a lot of events throughout the year. So part of what we do is to educate the public about various media topics. So we will run these mini journalism courses. They'll usually just be a couple of hours in an evening. Examples of things that we've done before are how to submit the perfect FOI, sensitive reporting, navigating the planning system. What else have we done? Loads of things. And we also have members editorial meetings that I mentioned before. So we'll run these once a month, and we'll invite Meteor members to come along to a session and talk about just what's going on, what they think we should report on, and just have a friendly chat. We do run other socials as well. We've done some online socials, which were quite good. Although we are hoping to meet a bit more in person now. And sorry. that's the end. It's time for questions. And I hope you've got lots of questions.